Have you ever told yourself, I just need to try harder, and then, nothing changed? You're not lazy, and you're not broken. You've likely fallen into one of the most misunderstood ideas in psychology, the growth mindset. Today we're going to unpack what it actually means, where most people get it wrong, and how to use it in a way that actually rewires how you approach failure. What is a growth mindset? The term comes from psychologist Carol Dweck, who spent decades studying how people respond to challenge and failure. She found that people generally fall into two camps. Some believe their abilities, intelligence, talent, personality, are fixed traits, set at birth. Others believe those same abilities can be developed through effort, strategy, and feedback. Dweck called the first a fixed mindset, and the second a growth mindset. In her studies, students with a growth mindset were more likely to embrace challenges, persist through setbacks, and ultimately outperform equally talented peers who held a fixed mindset. That's the idea that went viral. But somewhere between the research paper and the Instagram quote graphic, something got lost. The misunderstanding. Here's the trap. Growth mindset became shorthand for, just believe in yourself, or positive thinking equals success. But Dweck's own later research pushed back on this. Simply believing effort matters isn't enough, what matters is what you do with that belief. She identified something called a false growth mindset, where people say the right words, praise effort with empty phrases like, good try, but never actually change their strategy after failure. It's motivation without mechanism. It feels productive, but it isn't. Think of someone trying to get better at public speaking. They tell themselves, I can improve with practice, a growth mindset belief, but they never analyze what specifically went wrong in their last presentation, never get feedback, never adjust their approach. They just give more speeches. That's not growth. That's repetition. So what actually separates people who grow from people who just try? 3 things, according to the research that followed Dweck's original work. First, process over outcome. Growth-oriented people focus praise and attention on the method. What did I do? What can I adjust? Rather than only the result, did I win or lose? Second, specific, timely feedback. Not, you're doing great, but concrete information about what to change next. Feedback is the mechanism that turns effort into actual skill. Third, tolerance for the discomfort of being a beginner again. Growth requires temporarily feeling incompetent. Most people avoid this feeling instinctively, it's uncomfortable, and that avoidance is often disguised as, I'm just not a math person, or I'm not creative. Those aren't identities. They're often just unprocessed discomfort from a lack of feedback loops. The neuroscience piece. There's a reason this matters beyond psychology theory, it maps onto how the brain physically works. When you engage in effortful practice with feedback, you're triggering myelination, the process where neural pathways get insulated and signals travel faster and more efficiently. This is measurable. It's not metaphorical rewiring, it's structural change in white matter, observed in studies of people learning new motor and cognitive skills. But, and this is the part that rarely makes it into the mindset conversation, this only happens under specific conditions. The task has to be slightly beyond your current ability, you need clear knowledge of results, and you need repetition. Vague effort without those conditions doesn't produce the same structural change. This is why, just believe in yourself was always an incomplete instruction. Belief opens the door. Structured practice is what walks through it. How to actually apply this? So here's what this looks like in practice, in 3 steps. Step 1. After any attempt, a workout, a work project, a conversation that didn't go well, write down one specific thing you do differently, not just, I'll try harder. Step 2. Seek feedback that's more specific than praise or criticism. Ask, what's the one thing I could change that would matter most? That question filters out noise. Step 3. Expect the discomfort of being bad at something as a sign you're in the right zone, not a sign you should quit. If a task feels effortless, you've likely stopped growing at it. If it feels impossible, you've gone too far. The zone in between, hard but achievable with effort, is where the actual development happens. Closing reflection. The real takeaway isn't that mindset doesn't matter. It's that mindset alone was never the whole mechanism, it's the doorway, not the destination. The people who actually change aren't the ones with the strongest belief in their own potential. They're the ones who built a system, attempt, feedback, adjustment, repeat. So the next time you notice yourself saying, "I just need to try harder," pause and ask instead, "What specifically am I going to do differently this time?" That question does more work than the belief ever could. If this shifted how you think about growth, subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology behind how we actually change, not the version that fits on a poster, the version backed by research. See you in the next one.